So Baylor had 11 players enter the National Football League. Some will go immediately, and some camps don't start until another week or two.
And we didn't even run them down. You want me to run them down real quick while Terrell is joining us?
Yeah, let's go over the ones who, in fact, were not drafted, who were signed first. Let's do that first.
Okay, as far as the undrafted guys go, you had Abram Smith basically 2 minutes after the draft was over with, signing with the Saints, and we've seen since that's a pretty nice deal. Xavier Newman-Johnson to the Tennessee Titans, Raleigh Tejada to the Packers, Jaron McVay to the L.A. Rams, and Drew Estrada was kind of a straggler. He was the last one signed a little bit later, but by Saturday night he had inked with the Houston Texans. So 5 undrafted free agents for the Bears.
And Xavier Newman-Johnson will join us today at around 4:45 of the Tennessee Titans as well.
And then the 6 draft picks. You had Jalen Petrie early on in the second round. Tyquan Thornton, pick number 50 overall to the Patriots. Was pretty awesome to see that. Terrel Bernard to the Buffalo Bills, J.T. Woods to the L.A. Chargers, Treston Ebner to the Chicago Bears, and Kalen Barnes reuniting with Matt Rule, Phil Snow, Evan Cooper, and all those guys out in Carolina. So 6 draft picks, 5 undrafted free agents for an 11-group total.
Terrel Bernard joins us of the Buffalo Bills. And Terrell, when you hear us clicking out those names, or when you saw them also being taken, drafted, or signed afterwards, including you, what does that all mean?
Man, it just means everything. Been with, most of those guys for basically 5 years, day in and day out. And, just seeing all the work that they put in to finally reaching their goals, and, seeing everybody do that was just, really amazing.
Terrell, did you see your draft announcement, or were you on the phone with the Bills? Because Kyle Brandt, it was pretty wild.
No, I saw it. So the Bills had called me about 2 or 3 minutes before that had happened. So I was sitting there waiting for the announcement. So all of my family was around, going crazy whenever he was up there doing what he did. So it was awesome. That
was memorable, right? I mean, you're never going to forget that when you get drafted, but much less an introduction like that. That was pretty amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
So Terrell, I was monitoring, your workouts and then all these mock drafts and things like that, and you were kind of it just depended, second, third, fourth, fifth round. But when you did get that call from Buffalo, was that surprising to you? Was it expected? And just kind of take us through that moment of getting that phone call that you've been dreaming of for so long, and just what all that was like.
Yeah, definitely. It was awesome, man. I wasn't really paying too much attention to mock drafts and things like that. Just listening to my agent and, what he was telling me, and then, what the teams that I had met with were telling me. And, I know that it was either going to be late third or early middle of the fourth round. So getting that call, was just amazing. Definitely just feel your life change when the phone rings. So it was crazy to experience. And, I saw the Buffalo Bills name pop up with the area code and everything. So, just taking it all in, and, everything starts running through your head, all the work, everything that you put into it, finally coming to fruition.
And you've done media interviews today, you're doing us, and then you're going to go straight into a workout because work doesn't stop. But everyone waits maybe for a call or an email or something, even a letter, when they've applied for a job, looking for a job. What's it like waiting around that long, knowing that it's going to be 3 days and maybe you don't know, but you got picked, thank goodness, early on?
Yeah, man, it's definitely nerve-wracking. Throughout Friday, I was sitting there just kind of contemplating if it was really going to happen or not that day. I'm sitting with my family. We're all just watching, and I'm super excited for all the guys. I think it was Petrie first, and then Tyquan to the New England Patriots. And then JT got drafted. So, texting those guys, calling those guys, just congratulating them. Sitting there waiting around, it's definitely nerve-wracking. You don't really know what's going to happen. But, it's all worth it when you finally get that call.
So what's it like to step into a fan base in Buffalo that is, look, and they have a history of being deeply scarred, but they are also very deeply passionate?
Yeah, man, they were awesome. I went up there Saturday morning and spent the whole day up there at the facility and, around the town. And it was just, everything that you could imagine. The fan base there is, second to none. They are deeply, deeply passionate about the Bills, and that's pretty much the main attraction in the city. So it was really cool to be up there and meet all the people, meet the staff, all the coaches and things like that. So I'm just blessed to be in this position.
Terrell, I know there's a lot of exciting things right now, but how exciting is it to go to a team that obviously plays really good defense? They've got a defensive-minded head coach, and you got guys that you're going to be sitting there around practice with, like Ed Oliver and Von Miller and Tre'Davious White. I mean, it just seems like a great situation for you.
Yeah, definitely, man. I couldn't ask for a better situation. Just being around like the guys that you mentioned, it's going to be a huge experience for me, a great learning opportunity. And like you said, we're a contender, and they've been good for a pretty long time now. So being in a winning organization around that type of culture is very exciting, and I'm ready to get to work.
Speaking of culture, we hear about the culture. We've seen the culture. We've heard the culture. We've watched the culture. What was that like, and what does it mean for Baylor to set that? From the time you arrived with Matt Rule and company to even now, of course, with Dave Aranda entering year 3, how many people along the way helped you get to where you are right now?
Man, everybody that I came into contact with at Baylor, I feel like I was able to take something and, learn from really everybody, starting from, Coach Rule and Coach Snow, my defensive coordinator when I first got there, and my linebackers coach, Coach Saravo, all the way to, support staff, academic staff, strength staff, and transitioning into, Coach Aranda's time there. I think I learned, so much that, it can't even be quantified, just what those guys have taught me, and, how to go about my day, how to go about my business and handle myself. I thanked pretty much every single person, called them or texted them at least, just telling them how thankful I was for the time and effort and energy that they put into all of us throughout these years.
Terrell, what was it like to walk into that Bills facility for the first time?
Yeah, it was awesome, man. So I got to meet the players, talked with Coach McDermott again for a while, talked to Coach Frazier, the defensive coordinator, and then met the owners and, all the other staff members and stuff. And it was just amazing, man. I couldn't, ask for anything better.
Do you get free chicken wings now that you're a Bills player?
I hope so. I heard they got the best buffalo wings up there, so I hope so.
Yeah, that's something that, in fact, the guy that introduced you from the NFL Network had a buffalo wing in his pocket, I think, from like 3 days prior to that. So it was good luck as well.
Kyle Brandt.
Kyle Brandt. He was fantastic. We're going to try to get him on the show. We need to do that because that's going to be attached to you forever. Thank goodness that it was a great moment. How many of the guys, and I would think tons, how many text messages? What's that like? You're trying to figure out who's going to call you. Then they do, and all this stuff. How many different Baylor players or coaches have you heard from?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's probably been pretty close to every single one. Right after you get drafted, you have to do the media stuff for whatever team picks you. So, trying to log on to the Zoom was difficult because my phone wouldn't stop, ringing and blowing up and stuff. So. After I got through that stuff, I called everybody back or texted everybody back. And, I'm just thankful to have, the guys around me that I do because they're, so supportive and, really care about you and care about your situation and, what's going on. So it was amazing, just to have that opportunity to, finally reach, one of your biggest dreams in life and then be supported by, your best friends.
Terrell, quite a whirlwind this last year. I mean, really, your whole time at Baylor was a whirlwind, obviously. But, I mean, Big 12 champions and the style that it was done, Sugar Bowl champions, and now, a record number of draft picks. I mean, you guys probably went through more than just about any class possibly did over a 4 or 5 year stretch. But I know we kind of keep repeating it here, but I just can't imagine the level of pride and satisfaction you guys must have. You guys, Petrie, Thornton, et cetera, to have left the mark that you guys left before you departed.
Yeah, definitely, man. That was the main thing we wanted to do before we left Baylor was really just leave it in a better place and, try to help establish, the culture that's there and, the winning and the off the field, just everything, man, just tying it all together. And, we felt like we did a good job at that. we ended up, like you said, winning the Big 12, winning the Sugar Bowl, getting a bunch of guys drafted, doing a lot of good things off the field. So, we couldn't be more happy. It took a lot of work, a lot of effort, and, we had a lot of help from, all the staff that's been through Baylor. So definitely a great feeling to, kind of accomplish what we wanted to accomplish there.
I don't know how many people may have done this, but I did text Matt Rule after, I guess it was after the draft, after the Friday, and the four players who were drafted. Did he reach out to you guys and do a FaceTime with you?
Yeah, he did. Literally right when I got off of, all the media stuff with the Bills social team, he FaceTimed me, and, we talked for probably 5-10 minutes, just, reminiscing. He's telling me how proud he was of me, and, just how proud we made him, and, really how we kind of took everything and ran with it, and, did it our way and figured it out. So it was definitely a special moment because, I remember being 18-year-old freshman walking in, just terrified, trying to find my way. So, kind of a full circle moment.
Terrell, you saw the spring game. You and Jalen were there. Others were there as well. What did you see? Did you see the next wave? You knew some of those guys are back, and then some of them are new. Your thoughts about Baylor moving forward with Coach Aranda?
Yeah, I think they're in a great position. Coach Aranda's, I think, the best coach in the country. Just how he does things and how the team responds to him. And just talking from the spring game, man, I feel like those guys looked, in mid-season form, honestly. I think the defense was, catching itself, getting itself together and, making plays and making things happen. I think you saw the front seven kind of dominating throughout the whole game. And then, on offense with Coach Grimes and Mateos and, Juice and all those guys, I think that's going to be a really dangerous group, with Tay running the ball, throwing it to Monterey and guys like that, and Josh Cameron. I think those guys have a chance to do, something even more special than what we did.
So, okay, man, I'm going to tell you this. Everybody that was drafted and those who were signed afterwards, it is an incredible group to cover. You many times, Jalen, of course, Abram, all the ones that we have. We have Xavier Newmont, McVay, like Craig said, Drew Estrada later after the draft. It's pretty amazing the group you guys turned out to be from where you came when the program where it was when you arrived, and you've made an impact forever on what's happened with Baylor football. We appreciate everything you've done, and also good luck to you going forward.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank y'all for having me on.
Yeah, man, get a break in there if you can. I know it's probably been busy, but try and catch your breath before it gets even crazier. But man, congratulations, dude! Everybody's beaming for you, and it was so cool to see where you went and who you went to. So man, we're rooting for you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate you guys.
Thanks for your time. Thank you, Terrel Bernard. Fantastic story. All of them, all 11 have great stories. He's one drafted by the Bills. Xavier Newman-Smith was not. And we'll talk to him a little bit later today. Xavier Newman-Johnson, excuse me. We'll talk to him a little bit later on today at about 4:45.
If I had told you 4 years ago that they were going to have four guys all drafted before the sun came up on Saturday, I think with those classes, you've been like, I don't know, man.
I'll say this. I mean, Taekwon and Terrell went way higher than I was expecting them to go. Jalen went right about where you thought. Jalen, it would have been interesting if maybe there wasn't the big receiver to do in the first round, if perhaps he sneaks into like the 30th, 31st, 32nd pick. Maybe not. Maybe it would have stayed the exact same way. But either way, he was pegged to go borderline first round late or, sometime early in the second, and he 5 picks into the second round, he was getting picked. But Taekwon at 50, like, are you kidding me? And to the Patriots of all teams, and they trade up for him? That was definitely a result somewhat of the receiver run. But, hey, it benefited the hell out of him, so good for Taekwon. Like, that's amazing that he went as high as he did, top 50. And then Terrell, I was partially shocked just because of Kyle Brandt's antics of just like, I was so caught up in him, eating a chicken wing and screaming and yelling and all that. But then when he announced Terrel Bernard right afterwards, I was like, whoa, wait a second. Like, I had to snap out of it. And then I had to look at like where it was. And I was like, wow, he's going early too. Like, I mean, he just said somewhere, third, fourth round, but I still feel like he went maybe a shade higher than expected. And that's awesome. So that was two guys that definitely benefited.
How much? Okay, you have to play. But don't you think all 11, and I'm not saying this as a guy that does Sick'em 365 radio, I would think all 11 of those players who were drafted or signed after the draft were remarkable in the one-on-one interviews with coaches and players and staff. Or not with players, but with coaches and staff. I would think we've interviewed them all.
Yeah, at least, maybe not media. I mean, like Tyquan Thornton is kind of a quiet
about
but like
any type of one-on-one with teams.
As far as the job interview, I bet you talking to coaches, they're great. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and they've had two different coaching staffs that would have prepared from that. And then if you're Jalen Petrie and Terrel Bernard, who both kind of touched the Jim Grobe staff as well a little bit. Yeah, that's three very professional head coaches that you had to deal with. So, yeah, it didn't surprise me.
I mean, it goes back to that team in 2016 when Bryles was fired, that staff that was around, and some of the connections even to back in 2016, which is pretty amazing.